born to do it.
Craig David, you know.
Exactly. Good album.
It was a good album. Not at the time.
No, not at the time.
At the time, I was like, nah, Craig
His
David's
music
a bit wank. But now it comes on, I'm like, on the way to see my friend. Yeah, you're about level. Another level, freaky man. Let me lick you up. Go on, you frizzly head, grizzly bear.
Such a sexy man. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, we've got it on. Yeah, we've got it on forward facing, mate. Don't try and make yourself. Did you bring a dustpan and brush for your rods?
No. Are you videoing that?
Yeah, mate.
Oh. No. No.
Are you expecting rods?
No.
No.
No, I don't want rods.
You don't want rods on the floor?
Just moist and gentle.
Not what he was saying before. Send it. I want to be high on the leaderboard. We'll turn up the boost, are we?
Yeah.
To what?
400 PSI. There goes the rod.
Knocky? It was already knocky last time, mate.
That was knocky last time.
That is a man who's experienced at handling a rod.
We need some oil.
Hey, Joseph.
Good morning.
Morning, Park. You alright?
Yeah, not bad, you?
What have I got on? You alright?
Good.
Oh, someone's bought us a shed.
Yeah, might as well call us B&Q. So today is part 2 of Jake's Caddy, which ended with low pressure fuel pump issues. He's now fitted an S3 controller and a TTRS and tank pump.
Yep.
Dan has so kindly scaled for the pump. Yep. So we're now going to get it on the rollers. See what happens.
So, with a working fuel pump, we've established that Jake builds engines that do 373 brake horsepower consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, she's done well. 373, 529 newton meters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
So just working on NOx suppression now because it's still pulling a bit of time in. Quite a bit of time in. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's a big chunk
in the mid section.
In the upper mid range that's out of tolerance. And as soon as it hits 6k, it's well within tolerance. So it's just suppressing the knock in that lower area.
And then turn it up to 2.5 bar boost.
I think you'd be lucky to do that on a carry fork.
Send it.
But yeah, so it's now, it's now made on the, exactly the same as what Harry's made.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Horsepower wise.
Obviously a lot more torque.
Yeah.
And then, well, yeah.
But
85 units more.
But we'll see how this goes, obviously, because we've got knock to try and suppress now. So
yeah,
we'll see if we can maintain that.
Okay, awesome.
Loads.
They pulled loads of time.
Yeah, knocking his off, mate.
Peak was 8.3.
It's a lot of timing.
But the timing pull gets better
Higher up.
after.
That's the biggest thing, wasn't it?
$6,000. It actually gets better, ironically.
What drops?
Yeah. And it goes within after 6,000 RPM. It goes within tolerance.
What is tolerance on one of these?
3 degrees of pull.
3
So
degrees.
-3.
Stop video of heat.
No, I'm recording it.
Yeah, tolerance is 3 degrees.
Yeah.
But obviously you want it as low as possible, ideally.
Like 0.
0 is the
Well,
ideal, yeah.
Dream.
The thing is, it's kind of a midget in here. The biggest problem you've got is if you work to tolerance being, say, 3 degrees, and you let it leave on 3 degrees, if you get some bad quality fuel, not naming any brands, but if you go and fill up with 99 from one of the top 3 brands, and it's a poor batch, or it's just physically not as good, it may pull more timing, especially if the 99 you were running is
8 degrees. You don't run fuel.
Yeah.
That could then put it to like 12.
And it goes.
You need to
Pow!
do the margin, don't you?
Yeah, it's basically having the margin. So it's the same with fuel trims. If your fuel trims are running away with themselves, but they're still, say
So what they run what?
these 25% plus or minus. Say you get to 20 and go, I'm going to call it. 20 is still a bit high. Really, 5% is optimal. 10, 15 you can sometimes give a pass at, but there's a lot of factors you have to consider. And that's kind of that. But it basically, it doesn't knock at all till, sorry, I just realised we're talking about all this shit. So,
I'm not entirely sure what that pause was, to be honest, but so it doesn't knock at all while we're filming.
so like 3,500 RPM, and then it comes in like within tolerance, then it goes out of tolerance.
And then comes back.
And then it comes back into tolerance. Like it does, to be fair, the knock is then suppressed a little bit. Then it knocks out tolerance again. Then after, from above $6,000, it's all within tolerance. So it's just
6K over there.
It's mid.
So as long as you're always on
6K,
fine to leave now.
So yeah, we've just
Pull
got
away first, sit there at 6,000, second 6,000.
pretty much.
You can only drain your tank to half the tank, can't you?
Yeah, that's like
You're filling up every 20 minutes.
100 miles, and then we keep getting fuel cut because of the pump in the tank. But that's just because the basket away is full tank's fine.
Sweet.
Which means I've got to drop the tank again.
Yeah.
All a learning. Yeah, it's all a learning curve.
Add out like 3 or 4 times.
No, more than that, I reckon that tank has dropped 5 times. Because we fitted the TTI's pump straight in. It ran, but it must have literally ran with the fuel that was in the line, died, and was like, oh, okay. So then me and Carl dropped the tank again. It was like, right, why is this not working, basically? And then took the pump out, bench tested on the bench with a power probe.
Right.
The pump physically works. So we checked the continuity between the wires on the actual caddy and then to the pump, and we were getting like 12 volts. But then on the pump it was like 2 volts.
Yeah.
So we then took the wiring off the original Golf pump, the plug, because the TTRS pump that I got was in a caddy housing, like basically like hybrid. And it had push connectors on the pump.
Right.
So we took it off the caddy one, cut up and resoldered them on, put it in the car, just plugged it in, the tank's still down, ignition on and off, perfect fine. Right, full sort, put it back in the tank, lifted the tank back up, went to go start it, nothing. I was like, so tank come back out again, same again, tested it, we then tested, what did we do? Swapped them over, didn't we? So we put the TTRS pump on the caddy, on the top part of the basket, and it was fine. And then put it back and down again, issues. So what I ended up doing was actually bypassing the fuel pump controller on a 12-volt supply, took it out for a test drive, and fuel pressure was perfectly fine, but it's not obviously how the wires meant to be. That's when I then contacted Andy at Overboost, done the wiring, and he then sent me out a modified fuel pump controller because of the location. Plugged it in, and so since then it's been perfectly fine. Just got the issue of when we get to about half tank, because the TTR is pumped down in a Caddy basket in the swirl pot. Just sometimes, because of the fuel level, it's just not picking it up sometimes. But
You got a solution.
it's the joy. We've got a solution. It's just having the time to drop the tank once again. Hopefully that will be the last time that we actually do it. Yeah, like I said, just keep it above half the tank. That's fine, to be honest with you. But it's the joys of modifying cars. You know, the engine shouldn't be the bloody thing in the first place. But yeah, it is cool.
But that's the whole point. It's a learning curve, and you've
Yeah,
not
it is a
done,
massive learning curve.
when you've not done something before, it's just keep having to do it to get it right.
It is literally, yeah. Once you do it right, that's it. Like I say, it's just a massive learning curve. Would I do it again? Probably not. Massive headache.
Would you look in a someone page?
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, the engine itself literally drops straight in on the mounts. The front end of the Caddy is basically about 5 months, 6 gold.
Yeah.
Like I say, the biggest change is obviously the ECU, the wiring to then adapt it to the Caddy itself.
To get rid of working,
Yeah, obviously I'm running Mark 6 G-side clocks. And obviously then there's the custom exhaust that me and my mate Sam done. So, did you hear it in there? It's very drony.
I've got ear defenders on.
So you're fine, yeah. Outside of the van, it's not even that bad. If you're in the passenger seat,
Yeah.
as Kai experienced this morning.
But there's not a lot in the back of them. That's the
No,
problem.
it's not. No, obviously it is all carpet and everything, but
And sound.
what?
And sound.
And sound deadening, yeah. It's
Okay.
still
Not
loud.
including the floor.
Yeah, the floor's even sound deadened, yeah. It's fully carpet through.
See, mine's not really sound dead, and mine's plied with carpet on.
Yeah.
Not all of it, just like there's bits in there I've got to finish that I've just like never got round to. But it's still like you get a lot of road noise in them, and
Yeah, the road noise isn't that bad.
really,
No.
mine's terrible.
Not at all.
You can't hear it over the windows, it's usually about 140 mile an hour, that's why.
In Mexico,
In Mexico, yeah. Yeah. The speed limit is 60 in a van.
car derived van, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it's
70.
not.
Car derived
No,
van.
it's not.
Really?
That's what I said to you.
No.
We had the debate about it. You're like, no, definitely is.
No, the van is obviously the van because
I
it's
stand corrected.
it's a commercial vehicle, so technically it's 60 mile an hour, unless you're on a motorway at 70. But
Oh, cool, that's fine.
the seats, obviously it has got back seats, so it's got a full surround conversion. So you've got the back seats, which can come out. So that's a bit of weight saving. There's always been a massive hoo-ha on like Caddy forums and stuff. Obviously they do a Caddy Life, which has got the seats from factory and windows. They are a car derived van, so they can do the natural speed limit at 60 at 60. But just send it.
You're gonna cry, Jake.
Yeah, we're going backwards now.
You're going backwards. Does that mean you're going to forge it, Jake? So we can send all the boost.
I'm gonna go crawl.
You're gonna cry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, these can run like 16 degrees. You're running 10, and we've still got far too much knock. So, but it's still making power though, and that's where it kind of.
Harry's just going back to stock time, didn't it? Because you were pulling time. And...
Yeah.
It
was still doing 1.5 degrees at stock.
Yeah, it was still pulling.
That's offensive to my people. That's offensive to two of my people.
So we're going stock time now.
Yeah, so if you show a boost out, go stock time and see what it does. But the thing is, like I said, they can run 15, 16 degrees, but you're still making power at 10, if that makes sense. So it's all relative. Sometimes engines don't need as much time to make power. And this is actually something I wanted to cover, which I'm going to cover in another video properly. I will actually do a video based on FAQs and things. But this is what I was saying before with efficiency. Your engine's done 32,000 miles more than Harry's. He was making more power at less boost, which probably means his setup is more efficient than yours in a respect.
Yeah, it's got a track slag 3.5 inch downpipe, which they are efficient as anything.
They are very efficient, yeah, and that is
welly cooler as well.
Yeah, but that's where it then goes into the whole. That's where it goes into the whole conversation of how much power things can make. Do you know what I mean?
All of it.
You may have a turbo that can do say 400 brake, but it doesn't mean it's going to on a particular vehicle because the setup isn't efficient.
Just the hardware around it.
Yeah, or the engine's not in good working order, or.
But I've never compression tested that engine ever.
You're a brave man. Brave. I didn't know I started drawing a piston for.
Because you can.
No, honestly, I've never compression
I
tested.
can't. My drawing skills are terrible.
We're probably compression testing it. It's probably running like 120s, and then we'll be like, oh,
Well, that's why it's knackered.
that's what it is.
I'm trying to keep it PG-13.
It's me!
You have to bleep yourself now.
You're not a caddy.
So we thought we'd put a little bit in the end of this video because it has been some months, I think, since it was filmed.
It's been a couple of months, I've said.
Yeah, and as far as I remember on the day, we were basically battling knock, and then I think pretty much all our cameras died, so we kind of just...
So we got one running before that, just on my camera.
Yeah.
We were at
Some amount of horsepower.
some amount of horsepower, and we were at about 10 degrees, I think it was timing.
Yeah, I think we dropped down to stock timing because we were battling timing pull on cylinders 1 and 3, and yeah, there was numerous conversations between me and Jake about compression testing the engine. Has it been compression tested? Blah 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 blah. I think
that was in a video. That is in a video.
Yeah, I think he said he had. And it was
No,
all right.
he literally in the video. Sorry, like obviously this is like 2 months ago for the recording, but I watched it earlier.
Right. Okay.
He literally goes, "I've never compression tested that engine."
See, I'm sure he said to me that he had.
Maybe after the fact, but definitely on the day he said he'd never.
So I'm
compression
sure he
tested
told
it.
me he'd comp tested it and it was fine.
Because we compared it to the build that he did on Harry's, which is because we obviously for people watching this, they've just seen this.
Yeah.
We were talking about when Harry's went back to stock timing,
Yeah.
and it was still putting 1.5 degrees.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned the fact that Jake's engine's about 40,000 miles more knackered.
Yeah.
And he said he'd never compression tested it.
Yeah. So, but the long and short of it is, the engine got stripped. It was kind of one of those where we'd had numerous conversations, and I said, "Dude, just strip the motor because there's going to be something wrong with it." There will be a picture now coming on screen, and that is a smashed ring landing. I can't remember if that's piston 1 or 3, but they were both in a similar condition. Very common issue with TFSIs. And normally, if you've got a load of knock on 2 cylinders and not the other 2, and you know you've checked everything else and everything else is okay, that's normally going to be where you're at, is smashed piston ring landing. So yeah, we thought we'd add this bit in just to clarify the video, I suppose, or clarify a few facts. Also because there will be more coming. So the engine's now been built, and me and Jake have had numerous conversations about turbo systems, in fuel setups, and I think he's just deciding which way to go currently. Because he can stay on the KO4, bring it back, we can turn it up a bit more, providing everything's now good, and it will make more power. Or he can go large frame like a GTX 3071R, 3076R, with fuel system upgrades, but it's all a load more money, but then it will do
that, Jake.
Well, this is exactly
500
what I said.
horsepower?
It will do 500 horsepower plus. I mean, I said to him I would go for the 3076, and yeah, running moderate boost will do 500 brake, or you can turn it up past that depending on what he wants. It just leaves more in it, because I know what will happen is, it's like all of us, it'll go, oh yeah, 500 brake will be plenty, and you'll do it for a month and then go, yeah, I want more.
Yeah.
So I've suggested leaving some in the tank so we can turn it up in future. So yeah, there will be potentially be a part 3 on the way at some point.
Awesome. Okay, we'll see you then.
Yeah, see you then.